Scott Walker's running for president, and so he's under a little bit more of a microscope now. That's why there's so many stories about him. Everybody's digging in, trying to figure out what he's up to. And well, look, part of that makes a lot of sense, because if we're going to have a vote and we're going to try to figure out what makes sense for this country, both in the primaries and eventually in the general election, you got to know what he stands for. So people went back and found a bill that he's been supporting recently called the Right to Work bill. Now, it's called Right to Work, but what it does is it hurts the working class. What it does is strips private sector unions of their ability to collect fees and their bargaining power. Now, Walker started this whole mess, if you remember, by attacking public service employees. And when he came for the public unions, a lot of people, including people that were in private unions, said, oh, no, that's not about me. Oh, those public sector unions, they take too much money, they have too much pensions. And then lo and behold, he came after the private sector unions too. Oh, and who was here to defend you? So anyway, they're going to push forward this bill. But here's something I know about Scott Walker. He's really smart. That's what Republicans always tell me. That's why he's such a good candidate. So I'm sure that he spent a lot of long nights working on this bill and crafting it carefully. Except it turns out that's not what happened. He took it almost word for word from Alec. Now, Alec is a group called the American Legislative Exchange Council, and what they do is they write bills and hand them to state legislators, and they say, okay, this is what you will pass, and here's your check that goes along with it. This is my official legal bribe to you. Now do as you are bribed. And some are clever enough to rewrite it so it doesn't seem like it's verbatim from the lobbyists who paid them to do this stuff. Now, why does Alec do that? Because it represents groups that wants to, for example, crush unions so they have lower wages for their employees. It's a lot of giant corporations. They don't like paying minimum wage. They don't like paying the union money. They don't like paying any cent more than they have to their employees. And what do? They buy off legislators to make sure that happens. Who's one of those legislators? Scott Walker. So here we go to the report here from Raw Story. The Center for Media and Democracy, which monitors the activities of Alec, has compared the Alec model bill and the new Wisconsin proposal and found them to be nearly identical. Okay, so not only are you a corrupt politician, but you're also lazy. Nice work, Scott Walker. Now we go to Brendan Fisher, who's the general counsel for the Center for Media and Democracy. He explains the bill is word for word from the Alec playbook. And that's no surprise, as the Wisconsin legislature is dominated by Alec members. And since he's running for national office, at first Scott Walker was like, well, I did say just public sector, guys. Yeah, screw it. I'm getting paid anyway. Yeah, of course, screw the private sector unions too. Crush all the unions. Make sure they can't get any fees and they can't use them for the right purposes. They negotiate for everybody? Who cares? Let people ride off of them for free, right? So they don't have to pay any dues and they get the benefits anyway. That way, then the unions won't have any money and they'll go, you know, they'll have to pack up and go home, and then nobody will represent the workers. Yes! Win for the guys who are paying me off. Now, if you're unclear as to whether Scott Walker is on Team Alec, maybe it was just the Wisconsin legislators, and, you know, what about poor Scott Walker? What's he going to do, sign it? Well, he used to be a legislator, and he used to be in Alec, and funny enough, on Sunday, the good folks at Alec decided to remind us of this. Well, thank you. We appreciate it. Here's a tweet they sent out. Now, this is a picture of Walker with the chief executive of Alec, and that is Lisa Nelson. And it says right there, great to be with Alec alumni Scott Walker. Remember when we bribed this guy, we bought this bitch for life? And then he became governor and he passed our bills word for word and we crushed the workers together, and then the people of Wisconsin got paid so much less while the rich, that's us, got tax cuts. We love this guy. What a great alumni. Now he's running for president. We're even more proud. Imagine what he could do for us if he was president of the United States. How low your wages would be and how low our taxes would be. Yay, Team Walker. As you can tell, I'm not a big fan of that idea, but I do want to leave you on a funny note. Scott Walker has been having some faux pas lately. Now, this is not a faux pas. He's proud to lower taxes on the rich and crush workers. That's what he's best known for, right? But he did have a faux pas when he was signing a letter to a Jewish constituent. And look, he was brought up evangelical Christian. His father, I think, was preacher, so he is the son of a preacher man. And so, I guess he didn't have a lot of interaction with Jewish Americans. I get it. Just a little fun note. He wanted to say to them at the end, Mazel Tov. He's running for national politics. He wants to get in good with, all the different communities in the country. Mazel Tov, right? Except he wrote, thank you again, and Molotov. Oops. You know what, Scott? That's not fair of me. I should wish you all the luck in the world. Molotov to you, too.